The moment in time, my gorgeous Pisces, you decide to make such a big decision at the beginning of this week, and it's all gonna happen completely like, oh my God, out of blue, like, oh my God. So the moment in time you decide to make this important decision, oh my God, and it's gonna happen at around the time when you speak to somebody who's so close to you, and this conversation is gonna end up to be very, very interesting. And then and there you're gonna understand and realize something very specific that you need to do. You will really have this almost like a bit of a sense of an urgency, how much you want to make a certain decision, because you're gonna realize something through this conversation, something really important about yourself. You're gonna touch on a certain subject, touch up on a certain subject which are gonna be going so perfectly with your vibration, and that in itself is gonna help you to connect and reconnect on a completely different level, which is going to reflect on your strength, it is going to reflect on your confidence, and it's going to reflect on you grounding yourself to the point where you are going to be standing very, very firmly and knowing exactly which big decision you are going to make. And most importantly, my gorgeous Piscelini, the moment in time you make this decision at the beginning of this week, the moment in time you make this decision, you need to understand that that particular moment in time, it's the healing energy and vibration is going to enter your life. Okay, it's not only about the healing energy and vibration, it's about healing energy, vibration. That moment in time, the peace is going to finally enter your life, which is going to be ever so important when it comes to your personal balance. And this in itself means one specific thing, my gorgeous Piscelini. Let me tell you, the moment in time you feel so strongly to make this important decision, you will know which decision I'm talking about, because you're going to feel extremely passionate about. And this decision, it's also organically and naturally, it's what exactly you should be doing at this stage of your life. You knew this before, but you just didn't have enough courage to do it. So now you're already stepping towards this dimension, towards this absolutely mind-blowing direction. And that in itself means that the moment in time you decide to make this decision, you also need to understand that that moment in time you're also giving birth to some kind of creation. You're giving birth to a very important creation. And this very important creation is going to bring a new beginning when it comes to your life. And that in itself is going to be so important, because at the same time, it's just you've been thinking about it for so long. On another hand, my gorgeous Piscelini, you know, this decision that you are going to make. So this is actually another thing, another thing I was going to mention, moment, I've got my 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 moment, sorry, my gorgeous Piscelini, I've got my moment. Yes, so basically the moment in time you literally become aware of this decision that you're gonna need to make. You know, this is brilliant, because you are literally healing and you are ascending onto the next level of your spiritual journey. You are gonna feel very strong. You are gonna feel you will know which decision this is, because you're gonna feel very strong. You're gonna feel self-assured. You're gonna feel charismatic. You're gonna feel pretty much so very kind of independent while you're doing this, because you're gonna feel so enthusiastic, and at the same time you are gonna be inspiring others as well. You're doing something so important here, and you're creating really powerful energy, so you are at the same time inspiring others as well. Your intuition is going to be guiding you, and there is going to be very unusual sign that you're going to have at around that time, and that particular sign is going to also mean one thing, that you are on the right direction, you're on the right path, and you're doing the right thing here. So therefore you're making a really, really a wise wise choice. You see this? You're making a really wise choice indeed. And I know how much this is actually going to mean to you. On another hand, you know that there is a problem that you've been dealing for a while. This is a very difficult problem. And this problem that you've been dealing for a while, this is something really personal. Oh my God, it was very, very difficult. And you couldn't even stop thinking about it, you know, at times, you know, how difficult this problem actually is. So there is some kind of problem that you've been dealing for absolute ages now. It's like a burden, it just became like a huge burden, and it wasn't even your fault or anything like that. It's just the way things unfolded and developed, like in your past. So now you just had to wait for the certain amount of time to pass in order to see the progress. So there is a particular burden that you are going to be reminded of, you know, that particular burden that you're going to be reminded of at the beginning of this week. As soon as all this kind of planning comes up to your mind, you know, like as soon as you're thinking about this decision that you're going to make, there is so much more than just a decision. I told you, as soon as you make this decision, you're already like a giving birth to some kind of creation. So you just need to go with this particular flow. But the moment in time you think about it, you know, you're also going to be reminded of this burden, and you will know what this is. And this is why is this burden so dark and so negative? Because every single time when you think about, I want to do this, I want to do that, you're just, oh no, I can't because of this, I can't because of that. And this is the burden that is going to come in that way. You're going to be reminded of this, and now suddenly you will realize within yourself that you're not feeling about that burden anymore the way you felt before. And that's exactly what we need to do with things that are in the past, that are from the past. You know, you just kind of see it in a different way, in a different angle, which is not always easy. But now, because all these other things happen, this is going to give you a great opportunity to now elevate your own experience with this and see this thing, see this like from a completely different angle. And this is so important, because now this burden, you are really kind of going to you know, this burden you're going to be able to see from a completely different angle. And now that in itself, at around that time, there's some kind of breaking news that you are going to hear as well, some kind of breaking news, and you're going to be like, what on earth is this? What on earth are they talking about? What on earth are they saying? And then this is going to be the last little drop which is going to make your little glass overflowing, my gorgeous Pisces, because that little drop is just going to be absolutely everything. It couldn't have happened at a better time. So you will hear the news at an absolutely perfect time. And there is something so crazy and ludicrous that you're going to understand when it comes to this news. And because you're going to hear this at the time when you're going to be thinking about that burden, now suddenly, this is going to contribute towards you not seeing that burden in that particular way as well anymore. And now that it's going to be your sign, you know, at around that time, you're also going to feel a very strong urge to explore something, very strong urge to kind of like, you're going to be thinking a lot about a new direction. You're going to be thinking about exploring something. You're going to be thinking about basically learning something. You're going to have such a beautiful and fresh inspiration and enthusiasm, but it's more about you now wanting to explore something, wanting to find out more about something. And this is so brilliant, because all these things are going to happen completely spontaneously. My gorgeous Pisces, you really are going to surprise yourself, but in a good way. And you will know that something is changing. You feel different, and this is absolutely brilliant. By the time you get to the mid part of this week, it's like, you know what? It's like a lot about like friendship, and it's a lot about people in your life. You're going to feel a really strong like kind of connection with those people in your life, like, you know, the family members, but friends, you know. Now there is somebody very specific who is also going to have a little bit of a comeback. Somebody it's really going to surprise you from your past, but this is in itself going to be very, very pleasant surprise indeed. So somebody from a long time ago is going to get in contact with you, and they are gonna tell you something, and what they're gonna tell you, it's going to make you aware of certain things that you didn't know, and this is more about you kind of like, oh my god, now kind of realizing, you know, something else, you know, what you want to do in your future. So it's more about finding out something that you didn't know, but also which is gonna give you really really great idea. What do you want to do in the future, in your future? But also at the same time, that particular person who is going to come back from your past, it's also going to inspire you. There is something about them, there is something about their lifestyle that you will want to kind of like want to live like that. For example, you're really gonna feel their lifestyle and you will want kind of like be like that. And there's nothing wrong with this whatsoever. You're just gonna recognize the elements of yourself in that person, but it's already someone who is really close to you, so that is not going to surprise you whatsoever. Now this is in itself going to be very, very interesting stage here. And also when it comes to friendship, it's not only about that comeback, but you are gonna that person coming back into your life, it's not only about that, but you are really gonna kind of start talking, you know, to quite a few, you're going to be talking to quite a few people who are close to you, and it's all about friendship. And there is also like a kind, this other person who is like very much so in your circle at around the midweek. It's going to play an important role because you are really going to get a kind of interesting advice. And this interesting advice that you are going to get, it's more about on one hand you like kind of feeling the need to kind of have a little break, to relax, to chill out, you know. And this is ever so important because it's going to come from a friend, from somebody who knows you really well, or a family member, and they will tell you, why don't you just have a little break, why don't you relax a little bit, why don't you chill out a little bit. Like, you really need to understand this, that this is important when it comes to your mental well-being, spiritual well-being, but you're also kind of from someone who you know to tell you this. You really need to kind of recharge your batteries a little bit somehow, because emotionally also this is going to be so important to you, because you know, and I can see that this is all about you kind of like this is going to kind of be all about you taking a little break and recharging your batteries, but it's like maybe taking a little retreat, you know. But at the same time, this is actually going to be so beneficial because you are going to recharge yourself energetically. And it's also going to be after you do this, after you have this little bit of a break, it doesn't matter whether it's going to happen this week, or it doesn't matter if it's going to happen in 2 weeks after this moment in time, as long as you kind of set your mind to it right now, so you connect to it at this moment in time within this dimension, it doesn't matter. But as soon as you have this little break, it could even happen in a month's time, there is some kind of realization that you're actually going to have an important realization, but this is a lot to do with your money, and it's a lot to do with your finances, okay? Very important indeed. By the time you get to the last part of this week, my gorgeous Piscelini, you know, it's about a commitment. You are just going to have absolutely enough of like horrible things that you've been through, things that made you feel really sad, negative, things in your life that just took so much energy from you in so many different ways. You know, it's a lot to do with you being, you know, maybe unhappy and negative over the last 10 or 11 months, but it's a lot to do with you knowing exactly why and what has caused this and what's changed you need to make, but you just didn't have enough kind of this confidence in order to do this. And all this kind of made you feel so powerless, you know, made you feel like your hands were tied at behind your back for way too long. And that's not good whatsoever, because the energy becomes stale, and then we become used to our problems and negativities, and then they grow bigger and more negative instead of us dealing with them then and there. I know it's not really easy to do it like how I say, but you know, it's just all about having a slightly different perspective. So now it's like you are going to feel such a strong commitment at around the end of the week. You are going to have such a strong commitment to really work on those things that have made you feel so powerless for way too long. And I can see you giving something to someone. I can see you giving something to someone someone is like gonna like maybe need your help, maybe like financial help or something, or you're just gonna give a gift to someone at around the end of the week. But you will do something beautiful, something gorgeous when you do this. Something really wonderful and magnificent is actually going to happen. You're going to do something beautiful, okay? And that at that moment in time, your spiritual reward, it's going to be, you're going to realize, you're going to have a clear idea how to transform some kind of goal into the actual reality. You are going to have a clear idea, and it's not only about having a clear idea how you're going to do this. You know, it's weird how things are going to happen. You give something to someone and now suddenly you have an idea how you're going to transform some kind of a goal into reality. But this is going to be an ultimate goal towards your happiness, my gorgeous Pisces, but it's also going to bring you one of the greatest accomplishments of your life. By the time you get to October, things are going to be changing in your life like there is no tomorrow. And November, it's like, oh my God. So you just have to give it a time a little bit, but most importantly, it's bringing an ultimate change into your life. Okay, my gorgeous Pisces, thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light to every single one of you. Thank you ever so much for watching my videos. Sasha Bonasin, psychic medium. Love you. Bye.